Ladies, gentlemen, various others, thank you for joining us here at the Go Mode podcast channel on Twitch for a Mentor Tournament 2020 Link to the Past randomizer match between Fartsplosion on the left-hand side of your screen and Diamatsu on the right-hand side of your screen. My name is Tylersalt. I'm here joined in the booth by Yoko today. How are you, Yoko?
I'm doing well.
We should have a fun match for you here today, like all of the matches in this portion of the tournament. This is an Ambrosia seed, which means that they start with a sword, as you can see on their screens right now. The uncle will give them a hint to the boot's location when they start out, and the boss in every dungeon will be guaranteed to have a non-dungeon item, so something other than the big key or a map or a compass or a small key, something real on those bosses in the dungeon. Should be a fun time. and we will get started here shortly. We've got our eyes on the official timer, and we'll get ready to go here in just a moment. And we are underway. Boots are in the light world, so we'll want to keep track of that as our runners hop out of bed and find 20 rupees in the first chest.
Early money is always...
Yeah, definitely. You want to make sure that you've got enough money here for the bottle vendor is the first bit of money that we're going to need. So hoping for 100 rupees by the time you get out there. Once you get 50, that's enough. You can find another 50 rupees in Kakariko Village. No problem. And that's 3 bombs from the uncle, so that's nice. We won't need to worry about prize packs or bomb drops or anything like that here through the escape sequence.
Another...
So this is week 2 of the Swiss stage of this tournament. This is a 0-1 match. So both Fartsplosion and Diamatsu lost their opening round matches, but they're looking for their first win here in week number 2. Fartsplosion is being mentored by WaltherIV, Diamatsu by Adilor. So they are on a voice call right now with their mentors, so to discuss room strategies, routing, that sort of thing, emotional support, what have you. And so that can be a very helpful thing to have in there as they head through the escape sequence. Just 10 arrows there from that first chest. You can see Fartsplosion there. Both of our runners going up into that room just far enough to make sure that that first green to not aggro that first green guard. If you move up far enough north so that you line up with the bottom of that thick rail there, you should be good to go. Find a piece of heart there in the boomerang chest. And we move on to the first real mini boss in the Run the Ball and Chain Guard. 2 pots, 8 slashes with the fighter sword. He goes down, gives you that big key to get Zelda out of the cell.
And...
Yep, gonna need that key. It's guaranteed and standard to come in the first 4 checks. The 3 here in the front of escape and the dark cross. You're gonna get that key in one of those. We will also see a map at some point through the castle here.
Right.
Nice to pay attention to that. Always when you can count items in escape, it's really nice. Because if you realize that, all right, I got the 6th item already, I don't have to open the sanctuary chest. Always a nice little bonus to realize that and run straight out of sanctuary without even bothering opening up that chest. We'll see if either of our runners notice that or if the map comes up in the back here. Nice to have bombs early on. Should be a pretty quick escape here. As we don't need to do any farming here in the back.
Where we don't need to kill rats and snakes or guards.
The guards are in the same prize pack as the snakes. So whatever group of drops that the guards drop, the snakes loot the same one. The rats are in a different pack, and those prize packs, which set of items each of those groups drops is randomized per seed. But we're not going to worry about that too much again, since the uncle had some bombs for us. So,
it made our job made the runner's job a lot easier.
Yeah, frankly, made our job harder. Right? Always nice to be able to talk about. It's like, oh, when are they going to find bombs in standard? But that's okay. They are happy to see those. Fartsplosion making his way through that snake hallway here into Dark Cross. One more chest in here.
And 300 rupees.
All right, so we're all set on money for Kakariko Village, at the very least. Ooh, Diamatsu, better watch out there. Only on down to half a heart. Better be careful here. Nice heart drop there. The Key Rat gets by Fartsplosion at first, but he's able to catch up there and grab it as we head into the secret passage room in the back here of Escape.
Let's see what we got today. We have the map, a 4 heart container, and 10 rupees.
So that heart container is nice for sure. Fartsplosion picked up one of the hearts in there as well. And he's headed up into Sanctuary. I imagine that both of our runners will be headed over into Kakariko Village here first off. There will be one last item here in Sanctuary. They'll head over to Lost Woods. Maybe they'll check Lumberjack. We shall see.
Yep. 2 items there in the Lost Woods, and then route in Kakariko, go down to the race game, and hopefully if they find the flute in the Zoe chest, it opens up a lot more to the game as well.
Yeah, flute and bottle are the nice things to find really early as you go into Kakariko Village. So you can just knock out the Lazy Kid check and the flute activation while you're there, not have to make a second trip for either of those. Fartsplosion is not going to be checking Lumberjack. People go back and forth on this. Personally, I like to have that information. But especially in Ambrosia, I think it's perfectly valid to say, hey, listen, like, I know that the boots are in the light world. I'll just wait and check it once I have the boots. As Fartsplosion finds a bow just hanging out there in Lost Woods.
Well, that's a great find right there. Early bow.
Yeah, early bow feels nice.
Yep. But we are getting a Lumberjack Cave check on Diamatsu's side for a piece of heart. And we have not yet had a map check. So we don't know where everything is just yet.
Yeah, I would imagine that once we're done with Kakariko Village, we will get a map check, especially with that bow. If Eastern is a crystal, I could see our runners running over there. We'll see. I don't know how comfortable either of these runners is with the Eastern Palace Dark Rooms, but we'll see if they head over there. If it's a crystal, kind of rush it. But balancing those dungeon checks, which is really important, with light world overworld checks, of course, are really important right now, because that we know that's where the boots are in a light world overworld check, and won't be in a dungeon.
Well, we got the Fartsplosion picking up the shovel in the thieves' hideout in one of the first 4 chests. Skips the back part.
Oh,
nope.
And Walther noticed it, so he headed back down there. So in the race that I mentored last night, my runner did exactly the same thing. I was like, no, go back and check the chest, and then it was nothing. But I've also locationed something in that chest before. So
I've had that happen to me in a couple seeds I've done. But we find a piece of heart back there in that final chest in the back part of Thieves Town. Over to the well now.
there's mushrooms. We got a bunch of fetch quests right off the top here.
Right. I know it's always. We'll see. Do they take care of the fetch quests now, or will they take care of them later? We get the book.
There's a book and
there's
a mirror.
The mirror. And another
and
300.
more. Yep, and we got Zora money out the wazoo here.
Right. We do have a little bit of our Dark World check, just missing to check Dark World, just missing the gloves and the hammer.
And the Moon Pearl.
And
so
we're
still, that's what we needed.
Yep, we're a Moon Pearl away from going to the Dark World. And the ice rod in the chicken hut.
All right. Ice rod, early ice rod, pendant turtle rock confirmed. That's a meme. That's not necessarily the case. Fartsplosion stopping off and buying some extra bombs. Got the money, so.
All right, to the back of the tavern we go, and we've got single rupee.
Well, we got that out of the way. You almost want to see something good here on the library. It's just bombs, though. Knowing that the boots are in the light world, right? If that's something really important, like a glove or the Moon Pearl, you know you're going to get it sooner than later. But Fartsplosion is going to blind check.
There's a map check. Eastern is vanilla, with Hera and Desert Palace both being regular crystals today. Right at the end of the race.
Yeah, so I've seen some numbers there on the blind checking the race game as we see Fartsplosion is going to, instead of saving and quitting, going to go ahead and check the shovel right now. Perhaps they watched the map last night where we got our go mode Kane of Samaria at the shovel spot after going into GT. That was great. And there are the boots. So good call. All right, so early boots. Very nice to have. Our runners will be running around here like willy-nilly. Looks like Diamatsu is going to do the same thing here, and we'll check that shovel spot immediately with that boots in. That makes a lot of sense to do this early, and it pays off. Fartsplosion now headed down towards the south shore. Looks like we'll be going at this kind of backwards. All right, I've got that book. I'm going to go do Mini Moldorm Cave, then the dam, and then head over towards Agina and maybe pop into Desert, which we are a fire source away from being able to full clear.
Right.
Oh, no, though.
And taking a death in the Mini Moldorm Cave.
That's unfortunate, but not the most punishing of deaths.
Agreed. Diamatsu following the same course of plan, almost looks like. Going down there to Mini Moldorm, doing South Shore.
Chat reminding me, as I always need reminding, that you also need a glove in order to full clear Desert. That's absolutely true. Right. Always forget about that. Both pro runners got to be careful in here. Doing some slashes. Diamatsu used their last bomb over here. Fartsplosion takes it down, though.
Yep. And we have 50 rupees. The hammer. Blue cane. A full heart container, and 300 rupees.
All right, so that hammer is nice. That's 1/3 of our Dark World access. Right. Diamatsu unfortunately took another death here, And Fartsplosion could actually run over to Ice Rod Cave. So putting off the dam, kind of making me feel a little foolish. But that's okay.
And gotta be careful of the crabs. They do at least 2 hearts worth of damage. What do we got hiding tonight in the Ice Rod Cave? Piece of heart.
Looks like Fartsplosion is pausing here. Going to set up a water walk. That makes a lot of sense. You got all that money. Now, without the with this water walk here, doing it this way, without the moon pearl, probably will not. I don't think we'll be able to go and do Waterfall Ferry, but we'll be able to check King Zora at the very least. That water walk is pretty easy to set up. All you need to do is kind of get kind of close to the edge of that pit there. That pit or the pits in Mini Moldorm Cave will work as well. Dash out the door and then jump south into the water here. And there it is. Then you're walking on the water. Pretty good. We'll see Fartsplosion probably run up and do Zora here right away. Whereas Diamatsu, on the other hand, is headed towards the dam and probably back over to desert as well.
Right. 2 chests in the waterfall. 2 items. There's our moon pearl over in the dam. And blue mail for Fartsplosion.
So that's nice. And it looks like, I guess, if you're not doing the fake flipper water walk, if you set up the water walk early enough, you can get those chests without the moon pearl.
Yep. Piece of heart down there at the drained lake. 10 hours on Zora Ledge.
Yeah, so we won't be coming back here for that. And Fartsplosion will be able to run over here. Unfortunately, lost the water walk, and so it's going to have to go the slow way over here. But both of our runners making liars out of me. Neither of them taking that book bait and going towards desert. Diamatsu instead looks like, nope, faked me out. Thought they were going over to do escape, but maybe running over towards Eastern with that bow.
Yeah. And Zora has a life lesson for us. 500 rupees for 20.
Alas. Not sure where Diamatsu is going. Not checking Sahasrara. Okay, there we go.
I think he got turned around a little bit there.
Yeah, with no glove, no fire, it does make a little bit more sense to not run over towards desert. I'm just superstitious about getting the book early, I guess. Oh, I see what they're doing. Of course, we know Eastern is the green pendant, and so Diamatsu is going to hold off going into Sahasrara until after beating Armos in order to check these 3 items and check the green pendant at the same time. There's red mail in there and a bottle. And a piece of heart.
Well, that now puts Sick Kid in logic.
Yep, Sick Kid's in logic now. Diamatsu's not really going to get punished for not going in there. Could have easily been like the lamp or something or the fire rod in there. There's our glove.
No. Yep.
Now, I imagine that with this bow coming over here, that both of our runners will be trying to, I assume, will be going to try to beat Armos Knights. Now, that the first dark room here in Eastern is very straightforward. It's probably the first dark room that anybody learns, either that or the Old Man Cave. And but that second one can be a little bit tricky without any kind of fire source. So we'll see how they manage that.
Right, and plus they have the mentors, so they're probably going to be helping them navigate these the dark rooms here in Eastern.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Looks like Diamatsu walked a little bit too far down and triggered the spawn of that third Stalfos in that room. There's a little U shape that is right above the middle pot in that room. And if you don't cross those lines, then you're good to go. Diamatsu is not going to try Armos Knights, though, seems like, and is mirroring out after finding the second item in here. We'll see if Fartsplosion does the same thing or whether he and Walther will try those dark rooms.
Fartsplosion getting the only 2 of them and only having to use 2 of the pots on that.
And looks like Fartsplosion is heading on. We'll need to make it through both dark rooms here. We don't have the big key yet. Perhaps Diamatsu is not as confident about those. If you're not confident going into something like that, it makes sense maybe to put it off because, putting it off and coming back later, double dipping the dungeon is less time consuming than dying in the dungeon for sure. This is a pendant. They got Dark World available. There's plenty to do. So Diamatsu is going to head out. Fartsplosion wants these 2 more items over here.
Right, I don't blame him on that either.
Yeah, I could go either way here. But Diamatsu is going to be headed over to the Dark World here, I imagine. We'll probably check Bonk Rocks here on the way. Nope. Oh, yep.
Yeah. He's giving us the old quarterback sneak here. And we have hidden underneath the rocks today 5 rupees. So Fartsplosion skipping the big chest. And
we know that the map is in there. So.
And this has to be one of the hardest dark rooms in the game.
This is a tough one. It's manageable. You got to find the Igors here with the bow. Oh, I think you got it. There's the key, right? Find the Igors with the bow and then try to aggro them and the one on the right. And it can be tricky, but it's doable. Did get that key, and we'll be making it through. So there was nothing at Lazy Kid, and so Diamatsu is running up towards the Dark World portal. Ooh, takes a death, unfortunately, still in that dark room. It can be very difficult to find that pot in the upper left-hand corner, especially if that Igor, the left-hand Igor, makes his way over there. It can be difficult. So unfortunately, going to have to save and quit out of there is not going to try.
Right. And Diamatsu giving us doing a quick map check.
Of course, Fartsplosion making that choice perhaps because it hasn't been to the dam yet, doesn't have that Moon Pearl, so didn't know that Dark World checks were in logic.
Right. But Diamatsu giving us the one clear. There's 10 arrows and a piece of heart. Next up, this is Sea House. We have half.
Always nice to see half magic early. Great safety item. There's another bottle there on Desert Ledge.
And blue boomerang in the bombable. So Diamatsu going into Thieves Town. We got 4 chests in the front. One of them we know one of those chests will always contain the.
As we saw Fartsplosion from Agina with the hook shot. That is a nice get for Fartsplosion.
Right, that makes traversing left side Death Mountain very.
Yeah, so only a light source, so a fire source away, the lamp, I guess the lamp away, or the flute from having full access to light side Death Mountain. And we got pendants at Pod and Turtle Rock, and looked like 5-6 crystals, I think, at Skull and Thief.
Always good when you don't have to go into.
Or at least the hope is, right? And of course, we got that, like I said, got that early ice rod.
Bombs, 10 arrows, piece of heart, and a piece of heart. So mediocre hype cave.
That is not a mediocre height cave. That is a terrible height cave. That's 0.5 out of 10, I would say. And you only get the 0.5 because that second piece of heart was the 4th one. You got a life refill.
Right.
So Fartsplosion running over here to check Bombo's tablet very early, I think. No second sword, so can't collect it at least.
Right, going over to cave 4. Passes up. No. It's gonna go check out cave.
Yeah, and then Stumpy, and then over to Dig Game.
What do we got today in cave 45? Full heart.
Yeah, he'll.
So Diamatsu having a little bit of trouble with those crickets in the top room in attic, but picks up the.
I like to call that room. That room is either the hardest easy room in the game or the easiest hard room in the game. I'm not entirely sure which one. It's just like, especially if you're on blue mail, or excuse me, especially if you're on green mail, it's very very difficult. Those guys do 2 hearts of damage, and if you're going into Thieves Town early, which often you do, especially including right now, it is very easy to die up there, and it is very punishing to do so as well. So we find the Cane of Samaria there.
So he warps back over to the Fartsplosion, warps back over to the left.
Yeah, so he'll check Lazy Kid here, and then head on up and follow Diamatsu into the Dark World, I assume.
And Sick Kid giving us some.
So far, Thieves Town just coming up all kinds of empty here. There will be one more item on blind, but
I think you forgot about that. The key locked itself inside the chest.
It's a little bit too far to the right, and so it's not going to be able to get the script here. Diamatsu does have the blue cane here if end up needing it, and we'll switch to that. This is an excellent move here. The blind fight, once you get off script, can be very difficult, and the blue cane just makes it trivial.
And blind is one of those bosses that's always going to take 9 hits to take down. And for our troubles, we get 20 rupees and Diamatsu's first crystal of...
Yep. So 1 crystal down for Diamatsu at just about 30 minutes in, 30 hours in, 30 minutes in to this seed.
It seems like 30 hours, does?
Nah, you know, having fun. He will swing on down south. Diamatsu not interested in checking out the front of Skull Woods. That's always an interesting decision in Ambrosia in particular, right? You don't have the fire rod, so can't go back and kill Mothula, right? It is a crystal. There is one item sitting there in Skull Woods. A lot of runners kind of treat that as an overworld check and do it right there. I know personally I have been burned by it one too many times to not check it early when I get in there. No such fears from Diamatsu. We'll find that later.
Right. Diamatsu does pick up his cane of Samaria as...
Yeah, can't wait until we've got both crystals in Swamp Palace and in Ice Palace. So maybe we will see some of that new, relatively new tech there. Diver down in Swamp Palace, Icebreaker in Ice. We'll see if either of our runners are comfortable with that, or whether their mentors are able to talk them through it on the fly. We'll see.
Right, and I've seen it done in a few of the races that I've commentated on. It's 2 glitches I'm still learning how to perform as well.
Yeah, they're pretty straightforward. Neither is particularly difficult. You know, and particularly Icebreaker is you know, really important. But just makes Ice Palace bearable.
Right. So Diamatsu making his way now over to Hype.
We'll get a whole lot of nothing in there. Fartsplosion having a little trouble getting through that hellway there. Switches to Kane to make the way through. Smart. Then I imagine Diamatsu, we'll see, is walking out of Hype Cave. So I imagine maybe a trip. We'll see if they are headed up to House of Darkness. It's a pendant, but there are 4 items in the front that they can check. Only the couple of those checks are in logic without the lamp. But we'll see where they head towards now.
From this, it looks like he's making his way over to check the pyramid.
Yeah, this was the other possibility. Checking pyramid, maybe running north to turn in that mushroom over at the potion shop, and then get catfish out of the...
5 rupees on the pyramid. So Fartsplosion is checking out that big chest, so...
Just 20 rupees in there, though.
Alright, what does that mushroom turn into? 10.
Yeah, so that fetch quest not paying off for Diamatsu. Probably won't be wasted time. I imagine that Fartsplosion will do something similar, as he is headed into the blind fight. Is lined up correctly for the script. We'll see how he does. Well, was a little off here. Blind gets away. Also switching to the cane to finish this fight out.
And Fartsplosion picking up his first crystal along with 20 more rupees as well. So both runners now having their first crystal, and Catfish yielding us 20 more rupees.
And Diamatsu is going to mirror here to go check King Zora. Does not have the flippers yet and does not have a water walk set up. We'll see. I imagine if they were going to try to do some splash deletion shenanigans, they would have done that before heading up here into the Zora area proper. So we'll be leaving off Waterfall Cave still. Oh, Diamatsu, you're not going to be able to go this way, buddy. Yeah, no, you gotta.
So, and we've got Silvers on top of the ledge.
Ooh, can't get it. Can't get it yet.
No, he is opening up the way.
Yeah, that won't stay, unfortunately. But does mean that we'll hopefully we'll find the cane before too long. Or the cape, excuse me.
Yep. Graveyard ledge check time now. Over on Fartsplosion side, we have in there a piece of heart.
Yeah, we'll be able to do King's Tomb here. And then maybe run over and from King's Tomb over. And looks like Diamatsu is headed down towards the desert area. We'll get that hook shot from Agina. We'll see whether he decides to head into desert at all without a fire source.
20
but
and we got 20 rupees in the King's Tomb.
Alright, so not headed over towards the potion shop and catfish. Rather, perhaps gonna taking taking the hook shot and a glove. Nope. Oh, hasn't done bark marks yet. But might be going over and going up the mountain.
I wonder if the old man today has our fire.
The old man, I guess the old man could have the fire rod, but obviously not the lamp. Lamp required for logical access. Fartsplosion's coming up here with his boots and is going to check the lumberjack ledge here. But Diamatsu is headed into desert. One of the few in logic checks here that is still left, other than Palace of Darkness.
Diamatsu picking up the big key in.
Ooh, they're the flippers.
Oh, that's a great find.
Yeah, we're absolutely required here because we've got Swamp Palace, a crystal. They've already done some of the flippers things, but that means we'll see if Diamatsu ends up headed back up to Waterfall Cave, and we'll get that red mail there. But that is the one item in there, and so we are done here in the front of Desert. And Swamp Palace now full.
Fartsplosion using the tip of his sword to help guide him through the dark room. And he finds the old man, so now it's just a matter of following the path to get out.
Looks like Diamatsu, not taking the swamp bait yet, is going to check out these Lake Hylia checks with the flippers, the Hylia Islands. We'll go do Waterfall Ferry first, then come back here, I assume, for Lake Hylia Island and Hobo.
300 rupees from the old man.
That's not super helpful.
But it does. Yep. But it also unlocks a new teleport area, save and restart area.
Yeah, that save and quit from the old man is always real nice, especially once you find the flute. Then it's very nice.
Right.
Ooh, a free blue potion from the Waterfall Ferry on Diamatsu's side.
And Fartsplosion making their way over to Paradox Cave.
Yeah, so I wonder whether we might see the lamp here over on Diamatsu's side before too long. Maybe it's here at Hobo, making that a logically required double dip of Desert. Maybe.
Right. Bombs just in the first two chests.
That lamp could also be in Pals of Darkness. Well, just 50 rupees from Hobo today.
20 rupees, piece of heart. Bombs. A full heart container and another piece of heart container. So I'm guessing he's going to go over from here and check out Spot.
I would imagine that he'll go do Tower Hera first before doing Spiral Cave. He's got the hammer. Maybe he'll probably check Ether Tablet there as well. Not guaranteed to be able to full clear as we see Ether up on
the floating
up
island.
There.
Oh. And he is going to do this spiral.
That's a little. Oh, I see what he's gonna save and quit out of here. He hasn't checked Spectacle Rock yet, so he will save and quit out of here back to the old man, and then head up that way to be able to do the Spec Rock checks and then mirror into Heroin. Right. Could also route in Spike Cave as well.
As he gets his free health refill from the
All right, what's on Spectacle Rock today? We have just 20 rupees.
And in the cave we have...
Yeah, it's 3 bottles, so... Diamatsu is going to get the bad news about King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge. Fartsplosion is headed into Tower of Hera, potentially full clearable, depending on whether there is an item in the fire-locked basement. Do have the big key here, so we'll be able to check the big chest on the way up. I don't know why Fartsplosion didn't just mirror out of there.
Oh, there's the...
And is not going to attempt the Hera pot glitch. That is okay. We'll take the normal way up. Looks like Diamatsu is going to be following Fartsplosion up the mountain. So this is, still a sequence break without a fire source, which I imagine that lamp is probably sitting in either pod or Swamp Palace. Fartsplosion takes a fall there from the spark going around the big chest. That is a little tricky. You gotta, if you're gonna hook shot over to that, you gotta make sure that spark is not going to knock you off before you can do a bonk and throw yourself back over. Unfortunately, that does mean that our second item in Tower of Hera is going to be in that fire-locked basement. All right.
Not having a little trouble with the boulders.
Yeah, those cabbages are not very nice. Fartsplosion here is just Moldorm being an absolute bully there.
Right. Well, when is Moldorm?
Yeah, sometimes he behaves. Not too often though.
There we go. Now he's using Fartsplosion.
Yeah, very clean kill there for his second crystal, and Moldorm is holding just a piece of heart. So this sequence break gave us exactly nothing up here. So, luckily for both runners, the other runner is doing it too. It's not really losing much time up here. It's stuff that they were going to do eventually, but this, and there's the magic cape.
Cape on the ether. And Fartsplosion checking out these.
Half magic makes this pretty straightforward. Oh, there's the fire rod! Okay, so that is also a sequence break. All of this up here on the mountain is out of logic, but it was the last check up here where we finally found something worth all of that trouble here. And with that fire rod, looks like Fartsplosion is going to head into... going to go take care of Desert, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, unless if we find the lamp or the flute in swamp or pod, which or the front of Skull Woods also available, then all of that was still in logic. But until we find that, we won't know. Until we find those things, we won't know what the deal is.
Diamatsu having a little bit of trouble with those two mini.
All right, gets the dash turn there, able to bonk back across. All right, so now looking at our items, we need another sword. We're gonna need a medallion. We're gonna need the Titan's mitts, and assumedly the lamp to logically be able to complete the game here. I'm sure our runners would like maybe an extra sword on top of that, and we shall see.
It would take 24 spin slashes to take down Gan.
Yeah, that's not fun. Setting up that key dash in that room. If you align yourself with the bottom wall and then dash up into the door without turning, without moving up, then you will get that key dash right through that locked door. Same in this next room. If you dash, after you get the key here in this pod, if you dash and nudge yourself on that torch, then you will key dash through that door as well.
One Fartsplosion, one room away from taking down.
And oh no, unfortunately, Diamatsu is headed over to East Death Mountain. Is not. Oh, wait. No, is not gonna go check Spike Cave. That is gonna be not great for Diamatsu there. Unless is going to make another trip, or unless is gonna climb back up and do Spike Cave before leaving the mountain. That is an unfortunate decision. As we get
Bombos.
Hey, Bombos is nice to have. Could be our Misery Mire medallion. We don't know. That is 3 crystals for Fartsplosion of the required. Three more Fartsplosion can get here without finding anything else. Swamp, Ice, and Skull Woods, all full clearable. Looks like Swamp is... Oh, we'll need mitts for Ice. Thank you, Vortex. Yep. I appreciate that. I wouldn't be surprised if we find the mitts right here in Swamp Palace.
The Swamp being one of the bigger dungeons with
the densest dungeon, as a matter of fact. 6 items in Swamp. The only other ones with Pod and Turtle Rock both have 5.
Right. Ice, I think, has 4.
3 in Ice. Yeah, 3 in Ice. 3 in Eastern. And then 2 each in Mire, Swamp, Hera, and Desert. So unfortunately for Diamatsu, is leaving the mountain without doing that Spike Cave check, will not get that Fire Rod. And so we'll see what is what he and Adilor are planning here. Perhaps a dip into the front of Skull Woods, a possibility here. Find the compass in the first chest of Swamp, second chest of Swamp, but the first chest of Swamp. And so there will be something over on the left side for sure. We'll see how comfortable Fartsplosion is with Diver Down. Diver Down, really nice over on the left-hand side to be able to eliminate some backtracking. However, only possible the first time through here. Is not possible to do if you go and do the back first, because you need to be able to steal the key from the main hub. Yeah, a question in chat about why Diamatsu has put off Swamp for this long. And I think the answer from KegintheCloset is right. Fighter Sword Swamp is not fun. You much rather have a Master Sword, a Tempered Sword would be even better going into Swamp as well. Just make the Argus fight easier, make everything fighting a little bit easier. But it's tough to say that that's not what you would want to do, considering it is 6 items, it is full clearable. So Fartsplosion doing the left side Diver Down, intentionally flooding this key, then dropping a bomb so that it'll hit the crystal switch, but before it explodes, or as it's exploding, coming in here into the next room, so that next time he goes up there, he will be able to, the bomb will explode, and so he's able to pass through those crystal switches. Does a nice job there with Samari to clip through that rail, does clip the switch, is able to get the key, will hop out of the water and back into the water right now. Well done. Both of our runners will see how they tackle the Argus fighter, if there's anything in here that will help them with that another sword, perhaps. Argus, Fighter Sword Argus, not fun. You're probably going to, you can do double spins with Fighter Sword. There's the big key over on the left-hand side. Or you could do the menu fight, where you menu back and forth a lot between the hookshot and the hammer.
Heart container, piece of heart container.
So left side, not paying off quite yet. Do have that big key. As we make our way towards the 1 hour mark in this race, let us reset. This is a week 2 match in the Go Mode Podcast Linked Pass Randomizer Mentor Tournament 2020. My name is Tylersalt. I am joined by Yoko up here in the booth. This match is between Fartsplosion on the left side of your screen and Diamatsu on the right side of your screen. They're being mentored by WaltherIV and Adilor, respectively. So our runners are on a voice call with their mentors who are watching their stream or a screen share, and are talking them through this ambrosia seed here. So going pretty well so far. The big difference between our runners, however, though, is that during a sequence break up Death Mountain that give us nothing. There's our Titan's mitts there in Swamp. Yeah, big time. Nice one. Fartsplosion was able to get a fire rod from Spike Cave, a check that Diamatsu did not make. But that Titan's Mitts there in Swamp is our next big piece of progression. That opens up quite a bit. Yeah, Diamatsu is going to go do left side. Yeah, this is Mentor Tournament's been a lot of fun so far. Yoko, I believe, is a runner. I'm a mentor in the tournament, and so we should be having.
I found out about it like right after.
Oh no! Next time.
Yep.
Yeah, and as we're talking about in chat, next week, as Fartsplosion is doing this menu fight against Argus, which is not particularly fun, but doable. Next week, for week number 3, our runners will be doing their race without their mentors. I'm looking forward to be able to watch that race instead of talk through it. And then we're back to some open seeds for the second half of the Swiss stage.
Yeah, next week, it's like they got to put everything that they've learned from the first 2 weeks with their mentors to the test. Looking forward to see how next week plays out.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Fartsplosion struggling a little bit with this menu fight. It is difficult. In order to do this right, you really have to menu quickly back and forth. And it looks like he's got the rhythm now. You want to menu to the hammer while the hook shot is retracting. And then as the puff is exploding, that is when you want to hook shot or menu back to the hook shot. Double spins with Fighter Sword is technically faster. It's less reliable in my experience. So I like doing the menu fight. Double spins is faster to do if you can manage it. But yeah.
He did a nice job taking down those puffs.
Yeah, once he got that rhythm down, it went pretty cleanly. That's 3 fire rod shots and a 4th. Take down Argus.
And Argus down, and he has his. And Fartsplosion has his 4.
Yeah, and both of our runners will be leaving here with the Titan's Mitts. Very convenient. You find those right here. You can head right over to Ice Palace if you want. Still looking for the flutes and the lamp and at least one more sword. Fartsplosion going to check Bombos tablet first. Won't be able to get the item here with only the fighter sword, but we'll be able to see what it is at the very least. Diamatsu shows us a diver down back here.
Cape on the one up on Death Mountain, and a piece of heart on
I imagine Fartsplosion here is going to give us a Lake Hylia Island check. We'll run up to Hobo as well. I believe he hasn't done that yet either. And then perhaps we'll be headed into Ice Palace. Fighter Sword Ice Palace is not fun, for sure. But with a potion, with half magic, definitely doable.
This is up in the 10 hours on
Skullwood's still kind of looming large here in my mind, at the very least. That's been open for a while yet. Now that or at least the front has, and with that fire rod Fartsplosion able to sequence break that, plus Skullwoods being the other of our 5/6 crystals to open Pyramid Fairy. We'll see if that is on their mind. This is a save and quit tank. I wonder if that's what this is.
Yep. I think Fartsplosion put off Skullwoods for as long as he. So Diamatsu doing the spin strat on the puffs. And Fartsplosion heading right to the back.
That makes a lot of sense here, especially in Ambrosia, where one of the two items in here is on Mothula. With the Canis Mario, come back here, you check this, and then do the dungeon from back to front.
The map.
Diamatsu trying hammer strats on Argus. Might have more success with the Ice Rod. Ice Rod does just as much damage against Argus with as the Fire Rod does. Oh, there we go. Attacking Argus from the side with the hammer is better. That hammer damage box is notoriously weird. And it's a little bit more intuitive from the side. There we go. Diamatsu gets that last hammer hit in, takes down Argus for crystal number 3.
Does the standard bow do any damage to Argus as well?
I believe it does. Yeah. But I think not enough to warrant using it without the silver arrows, I would think.
Right. And that was a nice kill too.
Very well done. All right, 13 hearts, fire rod, red mail, half magic, just fighter sword. So we'll probably see a lot of fire rod action versus Mothula here. Oh no, hammer stratch. Interesting. It is quick if you can do it. Got 2 hits right away. I think the third one didn't count. Got knocked into the spikes. I think that one did count.
Yeah, that one counted.
There we go. Really nice hammer moth fight by Fartsplosion. That was fantastic.
10 arrows for taking down the big giant moth.
Diamatsu is back up on the mountain here. Gonna do Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave. Open up the Turtle Rock portal, I imagine. Oh, is gonna head up in the Dark World instead, looks like. Yeah, really clean moth fight. I'm really impressed.
Yep. Chet pointing out that the arrows will do normal damage to Argus, but not to the puffs.
Diamatsu making use of the mirror to get through Super Bunny Cave faster. Fartsplosion mirrored there. Not sure why. He's going to check the pedestal. Oh, man. Yeah. How can I forget? Get hype, chat.
Yeah, what do we have on the pedestal today?
Oh, it's the flute! Oh! Well, friends, we got ourselves a pedestal seed. That flute is 100% required. That's big, big information for Fartsplosion. That Spike Cave check looming even larger now. The Fire Rod, the reason Fartsplosion was likely to go back there. So Diamatsu really needs to, while he's up here, go do Spike Cave and get that Fire Rod, or he risks falling even. So what means the lamp is got to be somewhere. I imagine the lamp is sitting in the front of Palace of Darkness at this point, or right here in the front of Skull Woods.
There's all the
Master Sword, nice find. Oh, just 20 rupees there in the big chest for our second item in Skull Woods. Saving and quitting. Pod, I think, our clear next move here. Diamatsu is going to pop over here and grab the Ether Medallion.
So, meaning we are going to have...
Yes, we will. Yep, so Fartsplosion is going to take this Swamp Portal. Looks like is probably going to do Pyramid Fairy here, I would imagine, and then kind of route that in to a Pod Eastern play. That lamp almost certainly at this point is going to be in the front of Palace of Darkness. Could be on the Smiths as well.
Could it also be in the...
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, anywhere in the Smith chain, that would work out as well.
Now, is the bat... I always get this confused. Is the bat always in the...
I count Magic Bat as part of the Smith chain, yeah. And that is, I believe that if both of our runners, so no, Fartsplosion still has the mushroom. So could fake powder Magic Bat. Diamatsu turned in the mushroom will not. Oh no, and Diamatsu does get that Fire Rod, but does not go get the cape from Ether Tablet. Doesn't know that it's there. Did not check it earlier, and doesn't know that silvers are on Bumper Ledge. Taking that Fire Rod and running right over to Skull Woods, which is exactly what he needs to be doing here. Will hopefully check the pedestal while he is up there in the Mothula area.
Nope, and it looks like Fartsplosion is also turning in the mushroom.
I think this is fine. Fake powder, fart powder is what I almost said. Thanks. Fake powder is a fun trick, but you know, it's not the chances that they're gonna pay off honestly are pretty low. It does happen, but Fartsplosion picking up a potion too. Fortunately, Diamatsu is going to lose some time here in the front of Skull Woods. We know that first item is in the big chest, which he will not be able to check here because the big key is in the back. So unfortunately, we'll lose a little bit of time there. Fartsplosion noticing one of my favorite little things. If you pick up that, bush and then jump down, and you will be able to move at full speed there, even in the water. You'll be moving instead of just your normal, slower carrying speed. To recap, Flute is on pedestal, which we just found out. You'll see that on Diamatsu's stream here before too long. So we'll see where, having done those overworld checks, now I assume at this point now Fartsplosion is going to head over and do that Pod Eastern combo that we've been talking about for the past couple minutes.
The flute on pedestal, not the craziest thing I've seen.
No, but it feels extra bad for the item on pedestal to be something that makes the seed a lot faster when you have it, you know? Flute doesn't lock a whole lot here, right? It can't be our logical access up to the mountain because Turtle Rock is there. And Turtle Rock's a pedestal, but not having Flute for this long just does not feel good at all.
Right. It reminds me of a seed I did that I commentated on a while back that led to this big long fetch quest to having the item that was needed to get the key in Ganon's tower being the boots and tile room.
Oh, yep. That's fun. All right, Fartsplosion, our first look into Palace of Darkness here. Probably where we're going to find our lamp that we haven't found yet, which gives us logical access up to the mountain and that fire rod that's up there. Oh, Fartsplosion saved and quit. Wonder if that was an accident.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Fartsplosion's doing here. Checking Hobo? Or going to Ice. Oh, interesting. Is going to go do Ice Palace before Palace of Darkness. Huh. I don't know that this makes a whole lot of sense to me, considering you know that you have to go do Pod anyway.
Right.
This, like, you might get the lamp, and Pod was bow locked. They have a bow. So, yeah, I don't know. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but, you know, Walther's in his ear. Clearly, there's some method to their madness. Lamp cannot be here. That's a good point. Lamp cannot be here.
Probably one of the other medallion. Probably the Quake medallion, more likely, or Powder. Or even one of the other swords could be here, too.
Diamatsu getting the news that the flute is on the pedestal. While we were talking about Fartsplosion, Diamatsu had also a nice clean Mothula fight as well.
And Fartsplosion setting up for the icebreaker glitch.
Love to see it. This glitch changed the game when it was allowed officially a couple months ago. Made Ice Palace bearable at all. Got to move one pixel into the door frame. Kind of lodge yourself there. Very well done by Fartsplosion. Second try.
Off, and there's the bug net.
Oh, good. We can beat Aga now. Thank God. Icebreaker is probably my favorite glitch in the game. I feel like a god gamer every time I do it. It's very.
Still having that one and Diver Down. I'm still having trouble learning.
There are some great tutorial videos out there. Koi, who's a mentor in this tournament in particular, has a good icebreaker. All right, Diamatsu is going to do the Smith chain here. Still looking for. I don't think that we've seen an item yet in Ice Palace. There's one.
Just the bug net.
Oh, the bug net. Thank you. All right, so that's 2 items. So we're done here in the front of Ice Palace. Fartsplosion can run back up here, skip the Freezor chest, skip the big chest, drop. Oh, there's a Quake medallion. So that's all of our medallions. We know our.
₹20 for returning the Smith back.
Diamatsu is going to walk the purple chest down instead of just saving and quitting. All right, Fartsplosion taking on this
Cold stare
fight.
And making quick work with the fire rod. ₹20. And picks up his 6th. To answer Vortex, K45 was a full.
I think he already.
Yeah, Fartsplosion checked it. I know Diamatsu didn't check K45.
All right, so this lamp has got to be in Palace of Darkness. There's nowhere else for it to be, which is a terrible place for it. But once Fartsplosion finds it, that is no mode for him. He still needs another sword. That's no mode for us once we find the lamp here. We will have everything that we need in order to complete this seed.
Well, we do need to know what pendant it is for.
But we also have all 3 of them between the 2 runners, so
Right.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we did check King's Tomb. To answer chat, that was, I believe, 20.
Yeah, something like that. It was garbage. So silvers, interestingly enough, silvers are on Bumper Cave, and the cape is on the Ether Tablet. Another thing that Fartsplosion knows that Diamatsu does not.
Makes nice work of the mimics.
Some nice, like, orchestral covers of the Zelda 2 overworld theme going on in the background. Thanks to Vortex for restreaming this match. And
We've had some great background music throughout.
yeah, there's some great Zelda music out. There's that Bombos medallion for Diamatsu and crystal number 5. Be headed over to Ice Palace before too long, I imagine. No. Oh, does he know that's a key there? He must know that chest is a key there. Oh, nope, he forgot. He has to go back down there. Oh, there's a bottle.
Nope.
Yeah, so not the lamp yet. Lamp's got to be now in the turtle room or in Harmless Hellway.
Now, could it also, and I believe.
Oh, yes, it can't. Well, no, it can't be in Dark Maze because the Fire Rod is still out of logic. It could be in Dark Maze if the Fire Rod were in logic. But there it is.
And then,
All right. So we're finally back in logic. Feels good, doesn't it? Doesn't really matter. So that lamp's finally in logic. We are in no mode at this point. We know where everything that we need to be able to beat this seed is. Diamatsu trying those bomb strats in the Pengator room. Got a couple of them. Finished them off with the hook shot.
I know, I always use Bombos.
Yep, very satisfying but slow. I like a tempered spin myself if I've got it. Diamatsu headed over to pull off his own icebreaker. And we'll need to adjust. That block is too far over to the left now. I know you can adjust it after missing the block placement the first time. I have never been able to manage that. So for me, it's a lot faster to just start over if I don't get it. But, you know. Hey, there we go. Nice and clean the second time.
I believe that does bring us back in logic on Fart.
Yeah. With that lamp, we are fully back in logic. Quake, to answer the question in chat, was at hammer pegs, which Diamatsu has done, but Fartsplosion has not yet.
And assuming after doing pod, Fartsplosion just gonna teleport right over to Eastern and.
Oh yeah, almost certainly. It'd be very bad if he didn't. I gotta say, it's the clear move.
It's the logical choice.
Helma cooperating there at the end. Fartsplosion puts a couple more arrows into his forehead, takes down Helmasaur King for a pendant. Pendant number 1 of all 3 that we're going to need. If you're just tuning in. The Go Mode flute for us. It's on the pedestal.
That's always a fun place to put.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So at this point, our runners kind of have their work laid out for them here. That will be, collecting these pendants. They'll head up to Turtle Rock after the Pod Eastern combination here. And then I imagine our question is going to be, neither of our runners, I believe Diamatsu, when he was up there, did not check, and Fartsplosion has not been over to Dark Death Mountain yet. We do not know which medallion is required for Turtle Rock. Both of them at Bombos, that was on Lenmolis. Quake is over at Hammer Pegs, which Diamatsu did, but Fartsplosion has not yet. And Ether is right there on the floating island right next door. So Fartsplosion got to be hoping that Turtle Rock is Ether there. Yeah, so Fartsplosion's about a dungeon and a half ahead, I would say. Vortex just said that in chat. That tracks to me. Yeah, but that interesting question there is, will Quake be required to get into Turtle Rock or to get into Misery Mire? Of course, we haven't seen anything in the Mire area yet, because that flute is going to be our go mode on the pedestal. So if Quake is required to get into either of those dungeons, that could be a bit of a time loss for Fartsplosion, give Diamatsu a chance to catch up a little bit. There aren't that many places left that it could be, though. So, and Fartsplosion will make up some time unless he goes through the Smith chain in a extremely unorthodox way. Hammer pegs is going to be the first or second thing that you check no matter what. So we'll not have to bother going through and doing purple chest, most likely.
Yeah. For Explosion, having a little bit of trouble with the Almost Knights, but picks up his green pendant.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll run over here to Sahasrara to turn in that green pendant, looking for another sword. Ah, nice trick from Walther there. If you are carrying something, you can walk straight through a mirror portal and not get teleported. Very good.
Yeah. Nice little tidbit there.
Yeah, it comes up right there and not really anywhere else.
So all we get from Sahasrara is a full heart container.
Fartsplosion making their way up to Turtle Rock. We will get that medallion. We'll get that sword, that master sword, which is in Hookshot Cave. Probably get that ether medallion from Floating Island. Gets dead rocked there. That's unfortunate. Oh, couldn't quite get it out of the way. Yeah, so chances are at this point, at least one of the swords is hanging out in Ganon's tower.
Right. Yeah, but no, audio's fine. We just runners are just crisscrossing paths we've already seen and everything.
Oh no, and it is Quake to get
Ooh.
into Turtle Rock. That is unfortunate for Fartsplosion. But he is remembering to check Ether Tablet here. So is definitely planning on getting those silvers. He'll get the cape here from Ether Tablet, those silvers up on Bumper Ledge.
Yep. So there's the cape.
So this does give Diamatsu a bit of an opening, make up some time here. However, there aren't very many checks that are open for Fartsplosion to be able to find that Quake medallion. They are on hammer pegs. He is going to come up here and check out Hera Basement. We know this isn't going to be anything required. Could be a sword.
Right.
But there really isn't anything else in the overworld left other than Smith Chain. And so I think luckily for Fartsplosion, he's not going to lose a ton of time to that. We'll set up the, nicely with the bow, sets up the coffee break. We'll take a breather here.
I'm more of a tea person than coffee. Nope, 5 rupees.
That's unfortunate. Lost a little time. So at this point, you know, those sorts could be Turtle Rock, Mystery Mire, GT. That's all they can be. Yeah, Irritable Penguin in chat pointing out, it's like, well, unlike every other Ambrosia seed, no Aga this time, but it did throw basically everything else at them here in this seed. Got the required flute on pedestal. At least it gave them the boots pretty early at.
Right.
So we'll see whether Fartsplosion does hammer pegs first or grabs the smith. Could go either way here. He's going to grab the silvers first. This makes sense, and then run down there. But there isn't really much else for him to check. Fartsplosion doing what I usually do and menuing to the cape without realizing that maybe I want to menu to the hook shot first. You can squeeze by there without the hook shot, but it is a little tricky, and I have fallen on it like 10 times in a row in a race before. So, yeah, gonna do the hook shot.
Well,
there's pendant number 1 for Diamatsu. He will mirror over and take down Armos Knights here momentarily as well.
And we have silvers on Fartsplosion's side as well.
Yeah, so this race is going to come down and be very close here. Fartsplosion has had a bit of a lead there, but it is all gone almost.
It's all going to come down to now who can. It's all going to come down to execution.
Fartsplosion's gonna get the news here. We'll do these dashes, get hammer pegs, get Quake here, and then move right along up into Turtle Rock. But this is gonna be pretty dang close. Fartsplosion is going to turn in the Smith first in any mode other than entrance. You do have to do this, I believe. All right, so Fartsplosion's got is by the time he makes it up to Turtle Rock, he will be about a half an Eastern Palace, or maybe the back of an Eastern Palace, and a mountain climb ahead. So we'll have a small lead here. Does have the silvers, which Diamatsu does not have. So that is that could make a difference as we go into GT.
Yeah, silvers always tend to be the difference maker.
You know, especially with runners at this kind of skill level, right? The silverless fight is not that bad, and really that the difference between a silver's Ganon fight and a well executed silverless Ganon fight is not that big. But they if you're not comfortable with the silverless fight, then silvers save a buttload of time. So we'll see. Yeah. I don't know to what extent Diamatsu is familiar or comfortable with the silvers fight or the silverless fight. Master Sword silverless is a whole different deal. Of course, only sense. Master Sword, you can only damage Ganon with spins, no slashes. So.
Right, and that takes 24 spins to do that.
Yeah, so not much fun.
Nope.
That's for sure. All right, so Fartsplosion headed into Turtle Rock, fade out at 1:47:49. Great Corbett in chat asking, what did I miss? What you missed is we had a pet seed. Our Go mode flute is on a pedestal. So Fartsplosion, both of our runners are in no mode at this point. But Fartsplosion is a little bit ahead by a mountain climb and another minute or so.
And making nice work of the spike roller room in Turtle Rock.
Yep, having Kane or Cape in there is really nice because you got that full magic refill right outside to switch back to Samaria. Diamatsu is going to turn in that green pendant, hoping for another sword.
Hopefully we have a sword upgrade here in Turtle Rock. There's a big key.
That would be nice. The Master Sword Trinex fight is not fun. Master Sword doesn't do a ton of damage to the heads, and having to menu back and forth between the rods and the hammer is a big pain in the butt. So we shall see. We shall see if they find a tempered sword in here. There will be, I imagine, they will stop off and check Mimic Cave, despite being like in no mode at this point. The Fartsplosion is going to skip the vanilla big chest. Already has the big key. Vanilla big key chest, I said. Oh, this has got to be Walther's. Oh, no. Okay, I was going to say, trying to decide there. This has got to be Walther's influence, trying to decide whether Fartsplosion is going to go check Mimic Cave and the big chest, looking for a sword here. All right, Diamatsu is going to be about 4 minutes behind Fartsplosion going into Turtle Rock. Little under 4 minutes.
There's the bombs.
Be careful with those arrows there. You don't want to run out of those in Ganon's Tower. Or in Mire, that for that matter. Yeah, an aggressive play there by Fartsplosion and Walther to skip Mimic Cave and the Vanilla Big Key chest in here while still looking for a tempered sword. It's a totally valid play, certainly, but it is certainly aggressive. Not many, as chat pointed out. And is skipping Laser Bridge as well. Wow. Clearly confident, or just banking that there's going to be a sword in Ganon's Tower. So I like the aggression here on Fart and Walther's side.
Agreed.
Got to play to win. All right, Hammer does tempered damage here. If you are quick, you can get 3 hits in per cycle. Need 5 total on each head. Fartsplosion just down to 3 hearts on red mail. Oh, just 1 heart. There's the blue potion.
He came prepared.
That's the ice rod. That's not going to work on that one. All right, we are through phase 1. 5 hammer hits on phase 2.
It sets up for the spin slash. The first hit. There we go. Now using the hat.
Oh, just missing. This hitbox is tough to hit. Down to just 2 hearts. Got to be careful. Didn't check Laser Bridge. Does not have the safety door. Whoa.
Down goes Trineck.
Well done there. Oh, man, I was worried there.
I was on the edge of my seat for that.
Just 10 arrows on
10.
Trinex. Diamatsu also skipping the vanilla big key check. That is the third pendant. Fartsplosion will be saving and quitting in here.
Off to go get. And Diamatsu also skipping the Mimic Cave check. But picks up. So while Diamatsu is making his way through Turtle Rock and Fartsplosion close to picking up the flute, we want to remind you to, if you like what you see here with our runners and their mentors, please give them a follow as well. And a big shout out to our tracker as well, who's working very diligently behind the scenes, keeping everything up to date on the items that are found and keeping everything on.
And at 1 hour, 56 minutes and 56 seconds, Fartsplosion with that pedestal pull has the flute and is in Go Mode. This Go Mode brought to you by the Go Mode podcast, a link to the Past Randomizer podcast. Find it wherever quality podcasts are sold. Oh no, Diamatsu takes a death there. Oh, has a fairy. Thank goodness. Whew. You know, like did have the safety of the big key door. So hopefully Diamatsu will take the safety door here. Is going to show us Laser Bridge, which Fartsplosion did not show us.
Right. And we're off to the Mire area.
Yeah, we'll see if Fartsplosion heads into Mire's shed looking for a sword. Looks like yes.
Yep. And Diamatsu also skipping the 4 chests up there in Laser Bridge as well. I think he might also route in Checkerboard Cave from here too.
Oh, and there's our tempered sword in Mire's shed. The Galaxy Brain play, skip Laser Bridge, but check. All right, now we're really in go.
That really eases the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta imagine our runners are now breathing a sigh of relief, getting. Especially Fartsplosion with having the silver arrows, Diamatsu likely not going to. Diamatsu down to just 1 heart. I believe doesn't have another.
No, he does have.
Yeah, I saw it in the menu. Hammer Trinex is no joke. And it was logically required this seed. I guess there might be another sword in TR that neither of our runners checked. All right, firehead down for Diamatsu. Just down to 2 hearts. Got to be real careful. Not sure that he has a potion. Yeah.
No.
That is unfortunate. Get your F's in chat. Now he's going to check Laser Bridge, though. Now he's looking for a sword.
Yep, let's see.
So, of course, it's never a Godmire when you want it to be. No big key yet for Fartsplosion.
Second chest checked was the map.
Needs to get the key here.
No, it takes another.
That was just in Laser Bridge, though, so it's fine. Oh, there's our other sword. Butter sword in the Firelock chest in Mire. So unfortunately, these checks not going to pay off for Diamatsu. Yeah, and without a potion, this is rough here. Not able to get that magic back. Fartsplosion pulling out the big key from the map chest in Misery Mire does not successfully skips the cutscene chest. Yeah, Diamatsu might want to take an intentional death here. Going in Trinex on a heart and a half. Oh, okay, yeah, he's gonna do it there.
As Fartsplosion makes their way into the Mire basement. This has to be one of the more harder rooms.
Yeah, this room here, like in the non-Aga Tower category, that room and the turtle room in the pod basement, probably the 2 hardest dark rooms. Diamatsu is gonna bail, looks like, and look for some more magic, some safety here before going on to face Trinex. That is unfortunate. Hopefully, we'll be able to save the portal here. No, it won't be able to save the portal without the flute there. But gets a heart refill from the old man. I think there were some fairies over there, that he didn't know about. But goes for the sure thing there with the old man. That's okay. Fartsplosion down to just 3 hearts, 3.5 hearts here. Does have to be careful, but with the silvers, this Vitreous fight should be pretty straightforward.
Yep. And plus he has the cape too. So you can always
cape and butter would be really good, but silvers is even faster. And I think we're gonna get ready to play a game.
Yep. We'll explain that in just a sec. 2 silvers, down goes Victorious. And we have 7 crystals. And now it's time to play everyone's favorite guessing game. The Ganon Big Key guessing game. 22 chests in Ganon's tower. And we always like to play this game to find out where exactly he hid the key this time. So Taylor, I'm going to ask you, where do you think that big key is hit?
I always guess 10. Because it seems like a good number.
I'm going to go with my normal guess, and I'm going to say chest
number 9.
Fartsplosion stopping out to pick up some potions. One.
Yeah, we got until Fartsplosion makes his way into Ganon's tower to get your guesses in.
And we will be going off of Fartsplosion's opening of chests.
And he did save the portal, so that's good.
Yeah.
I'm headed back into here to Laser Bridge. Hopefully we'll be able to take down Trinex here. This is my preferred peg maze system. Oh no, what it was a little bit too high up, and so the other Samaria fireball despawned. But if you put a block right there and are oriented correctly, then when the block explodes, it hits first the switch that you needed to hit first, and then second the one that you needed to hit second. It's very good. So Fartsplosion headed into Ganon's tower. Get your last second guesses in.
Yeah, that happens to be one of my favorite mazes. And we're starting off with a right side GT. Good luck to everyone. Here we go. Chest 1, 20 rupees. Chest 2, piece of heart.
Fartsplosion thinking about trying to keep going, but without a small key, can't do that. Unless you're just going to go check the tile room.
Key on top of Bob's torch.
That's number 3. Diamatsu getting a Farrier revive here. Still alive versus Trinex. This hammer fight is not fun. Oh, he's got to be careful. He's running out of magic, too. Oh, no. That's too bad. Takes another death. Has to save and quit.
Chest 4, small key. Chest 5, full heart container. Chest 6, another small key. Chest 7, another full heart container.
We continue on. Oh no, that spike knocking him back into the pit. That's unfortunate.
Right.
Diamatsu is done banging his head against Trinex, is going to come in here and get some potions. It's too bad that this seat has kind of gotten away from him at this point.
Number 8.
Oh, and there's the big key.
And we have a winner today.
Congratulations to Mantis Factory. Today's winner, the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game. You score 14 points, 14 imaginary internet points. The most important thing in the world, imaginary internet points.
I think it's the same as Monopoly money. Nice work in Fartsplosion, making nice work of the mimics in the first room. Now off to the second mimic room. And with those BMO statues there, this room kind of becomes a little bit difficult.
Yeah, there are some nice strats in there, but those BMOs make it trickier than you'd think. Fartsplosion going right past that refill room with those potions, feeling pretty confident up here in the gauntlet.
Explosion, having a little bit of trouble with the BMO statues in that room, but manages to get through it just fine.
Will use the potion, a potion here, probably smart.
So one thing I dislike, ice.
Yeah, ice physics, not fun. Now, nice triple spin there. So the reason those landmos all came up at the same time was because Fartsplosion took a little bit too much time in that previous room. It very cleans it up with 3 fire rod shots there. Very nicely done, I have to say. If you spend too much time in that previous room with the bunny beam, that will screw up the RNG in the landmo fight. They all kind of come out at the same time. So the easiest thing to do through there is to just dash straight through. If you dash straight through, the bunny beam won't catch you, and the landmos will be the proper amount of spaced out from each other.
Making nice work climbing.
Delay could have been on purpose, entirely possible. It's definitely a swag triple spin there.
Right. And now he's got to be a little bit careful here, because if he goes up before he hears the chime, he could always despot.
Yeah, that's always worrisome, especially when we can't hear their game audio, but does manage to get up there safely. Headed into Moldorm 2 here in just a moment. Nope, I was gonna say, it's like passing up that full magic refill seems like a bad idea, but there we go.
Chet pointing out, saying that they feel like that delay was set up for that.
Yeah, it's possible. We'll have to. Maybe I'll ask him about that if we get Fartsplosion here for an interview.
And he skips the last chest of the game.
You love to see it.
All right, on to Agate, the
Everyone's favorite geometry test. Nice double there. Oh, takes a hit from the energy beams. No, nothing on cycle 2 there. There's one. There, down goes Agate 2. We are headed down to the big pig. Diamatsu still on Tronex, working with that ice head. You can do it. Come on, man. Down to 1 heart. Using another potion. Should be okay.
another great Trinex fight that's got us all on the.
There it is. Finally down. That's got to feel good. Through phase 1 of Trinex. But Fartsplosion headed into the fight with the big pig here. With Gold Sword and Silvers. Should not have much trouble with this at all. Gets the 1 cycle phase 1. Throws on the cape. Diamatsu takes down Trinex. Congratulations.
Yep.
Get some hype in chat for Diamatsu there.
And we're now on to phase 3 of the Ganon fight over on Fartsplosion.
All right, 4 silver arrows and we're done. Fartsplosion does.
Yep.
Oh, not sure if that was a double there.
Oh,
It
it
was.
was.
There it is. Congratulations. Get your GGs in chat for Fartsplosion. Finishes in first place with an official racetime.gg time of 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 10 seconds. Congratulations and GG to Fartsplosion and his mentor.
So Diamatsu now picking up their.
Checking in with Fartsplosion and Diamatsu in the race room to see if there will be, with Fartsplosion and Walther to see if they are going to be available for an interview. We will get them in here as soon as we can if they are up for it. Now, hopefully for Diamatsu's sake, he checks Meyer Shed and gets that tempered sword.
Yes. Maybe he feels confident about doing the Ganon fight with Master
It's
Sword.
possible.
But it skips the Meyer Shade going right into Meyer, and we have Fartsplosion here.
Thank you.
Yeah, GG to you, Fart, and GG to your mentor, Walther, here joining us in the booth here. Your thought. I've got a couple questions for you, but your general thoughts first.
That seed was ridiculous.
Yes.
And I still beat my best ever time by about half an
Oh
hour.
wow, GG, very good.
Yeah.
GG.
That says to how new I am at the game, but also how well I think we did, aside from a few stupid.
Yeah, well done, I have to say. All right, I do have a couple questions for you, unless you have any other thoughts that you want to get out of the way first.
No, bring it at me.
Sure. We'll go in reverse chronological order. First, we have to say, did you intentionally delay in the room before Landmo 2 to do the swag gold?
Yes, but not for swag.
Awesome.
Oh,
Just so I could get that spin.
All right, that spin is, the spin's really nice. That triple spin is good, but we were wondering whether you did that intentionally or not. I'm glad to hear that you did.
I'll tell you, there were a couple moments earlier in the seed at about Death Mountain where my controller disconnected, so there were a couple of pauses that weren't so intentional. I think about 2 times in a 5-minute period.
All right, well, you handled it well, at the very least. I didn't even notice. So.
nah, not.
Hello?
Another thing, maybe your best moment, I thought, was, I have to say, your moth fight was incredibly clean. You did hammer moth, and it went super, super well. Is that something that you've been practicing?
It's the boss I've been practicing the most because I'm normally so bad against Mafia. And I think I only did well because I've been working so hard at it recently. Normally that's...
Yeah, Moth is tough even for experienced runners. He can be really trolly, but you handled that fight extremely well. That hammer fight is not easy.
Well, no one's more surprised.
Yeah, I was gonna same with that hammer fight with Trinex as well. Very well executed.
Well, the Mothula fight especially helped a lot because I got the males so early in the seed, and just not fearing damage is so helpful in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. The spikes are going to do 1 heart of damage flat regardless of your armor, but being able to tank some hits from Mothula, really, really helpful. So having that red mail early, really nice. We look over on Diamatsu's screen, did get that tempered sword in Misery Mire, so should have a little bit of easier time. Gotta be breathing a sigh of relief there. Did not get the sword in Mire Shed. That's okay.
Right.
And then the other question I had, for maybe Walther, you can speak to this one too. Was you head into pod and you see that it's bow locked, and then you mirror out and you don't keep going, and you decide to do Ice Palace out of logic beforehand. That surprised both of you. Ended up doing Ice Palace out of logic before going into pod, and that kind of took me by surprise. I'm wondering what your...
Yeah, we kind of we were supposed to mirror, but we accidentally did a saving quit instead. There,
That's on me.
Oh, okay.
The wires in my brain got crossed between save and quit and mirror.
Wasn't Bombos in Swamp Palace?
Bombos was on Landmolus.
Oh, I was thinking it was in Swamp Palace. So we were thinking Ice Palace was in Logic.
Yeah, no. So yeah, Ice Palace was not in Logic until you got that lamp, which put the fire rod in Logic.
Okay, yeah.
And then Bombos, yeah. So I like it. That was a long time to remember exactly how you are in and out of Logic. So it makes a lot of sense that you might get turned around there.
Yeah, but I think this was a stupid
Yes, it
scene.
was.
I think we were pretty much just laughing throughout the scene. It was like, how could it get worse? Oh, okay, we don't have the medallion return rock. That's how it gets worse.
Somehow all my seeds turn into all dungeons.
Yeah, no. Oops, all dungeons, a real thing. At least this one didn't throw Aga 1 at you as Ambrosia seeds are wont to do from. All right, so Fartsplosion, how has your tournament experience been thus far? Now with a win under your belt.
It's been great. I, was expecting 3-hour finishes every seed I go into. So coming out of this one with 2:15 or whatever that is ridiculous. Great. I can't be happier.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And have you worked with Walther? Oh no, Diamatsu taking a death. Oh, in Meyer basement. That was unfortunate. Gonna keep powering through. Like to see that.
Yeah.
Right.
I got to give Diamatsu credit. We were talking a little bit before the race, and we're both super new. He's super helpful. We were offering to help each other out with tricks and everything.
Yeah, unfortunately, you guys were pretty close. You had about a 4-minute lead going into Turtle Rock, and unfortunately, Diamatsu just ran into every single sort of trouble that you can run into against Trinex and on Laser Bridge, and ended up having to bail out and save the portal and go get potions. Again, that hammer fight gave him a lot of trouble. But yeah, it really does. But up until then, it was very close. You had a lead. You got the. He ended up leaving Death Mountain without checking Spike Cave the first time, and so didn't have the fire rod for a long time. And so you had a decent lead there. But he was able to claw back some of that time because he had already been and done the Smith chain going up to Turtle Rock, and so he had the Quake medallion there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it kind of fell apart for him in Trinex, and so I'm glad to see that he either doesn't know that the race is over or doesn't care, and that's great. He also never checked bumper legends, so it's not going to have silvers going up Ganon Tower.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah. So not sure whether he has practiced the silverless fight or not. We shall see.
Well, more power to him for finishing.
Right.
As a competitor, I was hoping he either skipped Spike Cave or he skipped checking the pedestal, which would have been huge.
Oh, nice Cane of Burna there. That was good. So, Fartsplosion, next week, no mentor in your ear. How do you feel about that?
Oh, the worst part of my game is routing. That's what Walther helped me immensely on. So, we'll see. It's not. I'm not confident yet, but a week from now might be completely different.
Yeah.
All right, Diamatsu using the Cane
he
of
doesn't
Burna
have
here.
silvers
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah, no silvers, no cape either. Did not check Ether Tablet when he was up on Death Mountain, so didn't know about the cape there, and never checked Bumper Legend, so doesn't know about the silvers there. So is going to be does have some potions still.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. By all means, cheese that Cane of Burna here and slash Vitrius as much as you can.
Down,
Takes
yeah, there we go. Picks up his seventh and final crystal along with the piece of heart container, and he's on his way now to Ganon's tower.
I imagine Diamatsu is going to make a stop off at the potion shop here. He's going to save and quit. Yeah, as chat points out, it is wicked respectable that Diamatsu is still going here. No, like I said, either doesn't know the race is over or doesn't care, and either way, that's fantastic. You know, this tournament is intended to be a learning experience for all of the runners. You know, competition is fun, competition is a good motivator, but you know, you want to be able to finish with your head held high. And feeling like you did a good job and finished out as much as possible. Mad respect to that.
And it also shows good sportsmanship as well, too.
Diamatsu is making his way over into Ganon's tower. There is one more week 2 match left to be played. That will be tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It will not be restreamed. That is between Thornetto and Shkupel. But you can watch that on a multi-stream again. That is Thornetto being mentored by Ashtaja, and Shkupel being mentored by Shireen. And that will be, again, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch that on multi-stream. I'm sure somebody will post a link in the Go Mode Podcast Discord.
Almost forgot about that key there.
Yeah, but then the door locked itself again and has to go in. That's unfortunate. I didn't know that happened. That's weird.
Neither did I.
People talking in chat about like what circumstances it is acceptable to forfeit. I kind of disagree. I think that, you know, if you've lost and you are no longer having fun, right? And I'm never going to shame somebody for forfeiting, right? If you want to keep going and you're enjoying yourself and you feel like, all right, I need to, I want to keep learning things today, then by all means, I'm not gonna say, oh man, they should have forfeited or whatever. But I'm also not gonna shame somebody for forfeiting, right? Like, getting on towards 2.5, 2:45, long time to be sitting there. If you're frustrated, if you're no longer having fun, then by all means, go ahead. As Diamatsu picks up that big key, looks like is gonna keep going in the basement. Was thinking about he's still doing. Keep going in the basement. Unfortunately, looking for silver arrows that he is not going to find.
Even chat pointing out about that. Now, I wouldn't in a tournament like this. If I gotten in to participate, I wouldn't be forfeiting as well. I would want to sit there and try to learn as much as possible and trying to accomplish in finishing that seed, because then I feel a sense of accomplishment for doing something.
Absolutely. And what I meant is not that I only have fun when I win. That is definitely not the case. As like I have fun losing, and I don't have fun when I win all the time, right? As you get frustrated, right. You don't want to do it anymore. It's just a game. It's fine. But yeah. But yeah, having a mentor in your ear, as someone who has been on both sides of this, I was a runner in last year's tournament, and then am a mentor now. It's been this has been some of the most fun in the mentor tournament that I've had playing Rando. Having somebody in your ear like this or being in somebody's ear. Would have been is a great way to play it. I like being able to bounce ideas off of somebody and think about that. So hopefully, even if you get if you're a runner in this tournament, you're getting frustrated, right? Maybe you see that you've lost. Hopefully, you're still enjoying yourself. You finish it out, and that practice is gonna keep you going.
Right. And of course, the community is also good too for helping out.
Absolutely. Diamatsu not screwing around in the gauntlet, pulling out that Bombos medallion, just nuking everything for Morbid up here.
Yeah, that's what I tend to do up there in the gauntlet. No
shame.
When I've learned the hard way in vanilla to do not using Bombos, so it's like my revenge for all the times that I failed going up that tower.
All right, so you're gonna be able to see this. Since Diamatsu ran through that room, you're gonna see that the Landmollas will come out kind of in their normal timing, as opposed to coming out all at once, like Fartsplosion did when he hesitated in that room to get that triple spin there. So that's the difference there. There's a second Landmolla 2 down. That shooter in this room is incredibly rude.
Right. I hate.
There it is. To respond to something in chat about the Master Sword Silverless fight, it is a test of focus almost as much as it is anything else. You got to get 24 spins in phase 4 with that Master Sword, and being able to like safely execute that and consistently for that long takes an immense amount of focus. It is in fact exhausting. And so that's definitely the hardest part there of the Master Sword Silverless fight. That said, I think the hardest part of the Silverless fight in general is phases 1 and 2. You know, once you have the rhythm to the Silverless fight down, it is really not that bad. Oh no.
Oh, and he missed it.
Gotta be careful with those. And you got Japanese 1.0 there. Oh, I made it through.
And he gets the full magic.
Avoids the despawn. Like we were saying earlier, if you're not sure what that is, there is a bug in the game so that if you go up those stairs at the same time that the chime is playing to close the door that the torch is going out, it will despawn all of the sprites up here in the rest of Ganon's tower, and there is nothing that you can do to fix it except for mirror out, leave, and come back in. Oh, there's the Arrow of Destiny there in the Pre-Moldorm chat.
The lone single. And Moldorm knocks him down on top of the spike.
Just insult to injury there for Moldorm. Trivia question, do you know where that silver arrow is in the vanilla game?
Yeah.
Where is it? Do tell.
It's...
No, that is not correct. That's where the silver arrows are in the vanilla game. The single...
I know it... Oh, the single
arrow, I believe, if I am not mistaken, is in the Dark Maze of Palace of Darkness. Maybe that's the single rupee. Pretty sure it's the single arrow, though. What, the basement? Could be the basement, too. Anyway, it's in pod somewhere, is the point. All right, Diamatsu at the top of the tower, headed into the Aghanim 2 fight. See how he does with this geometry test. Nice double.
Nice double.
Very good. It's a tough pattern there in the second cycle. Another good double there. And should be able to finish it off right here. There we go. Nicely done there by Diamatsu.
We are on to...
Some frustration bonks there. I like it. Get some hype in chat for Diamatsu. Headed into the Ganon fight. Silverless. Tempered sword. Here we go. Grumble, 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 grumble. Seriously, you were supposed to bring food.
Yeah, but how are we supposed to know what he was?
Just no pork.
Give him a nice big Dave's triple stack.
There you go. All right, on to phase 2 here. Nicely done. Uses that hook shot to avoid damage from the fire bats. You are an invincible while the hook. Should be pretty close to phase 3 at this point. Nice. Avoids the spiraling bats by getting that hit in. All right, on to the silverless part about this. Gets the torch glitch right there. 12 spins right as he's leaving. Clearly has practiced this. Misses one there. Like, whoa, it's gonna be pretty dang close to that left.
Right.
The timing here for torch glitch, there we go. The timing, what you want to do is you want to light that torch just as Ganon is landing where he is to give you the best shot of, it gives you 3 opportunities to get a spin in before you have to light. People talking about Philly cheesesteaks in chat. There's a Ganon fight going on, folks. Come on.
That was me. That we were talking. Chat was talking about food. So
no, I know. I'm just kidding.
I'm originally from Philadelphia.
Oh, very good.
So.
Yeah. Provolone wit. Mozzarella, huh?
Yeah. Can't get cheese whiz. I either go with provolone or mozzarella cheese.
Never heard of mozzarella on one. Switch to the fire rod. You wonder if that was Adilor in his ear. It makes it easier with half magic. Makes it easier to get more chances here. The fire bats here are very tricky. Pro tip, they do not have any knockback if you get hit. What happens is that your controls are reversed for a brief moment if you are hit by the fire bat. So the safest thing to do is to just, if you get hit by the fire bats, just release the D-pad. And if you do that, you will be totally safe. You will just kind of bounce up and down in place.
I lost.
There it is.
And down he goes. I lost count for a second there and how many.
Yeah, hard to see on stream, but get your GGs in chat for Diamatsu taking down Ganon, finishing with an official racetime.gg time, 2 hours, 49 minutes, 19 seconds. GG to Diamatsu and Adilor.
That's saying that they think it's your momentum.
Oh, Kern being a smartass in chat as usual. All right, we'll check and see if we can get Diamatsu and Adilor here for just a moment for a quick interview. while we're waiting, make sure you give these guys a follow. We'll put that in chat. They put on a show for you today. I hope you are all entertained. Make sure you give those guys a follow here and continue to follow them throughout the rest of the tournament. And a reminder that we have one more race coming up here tonight. That is Thornetto versus Shkupal, being mentored by Ajdaja and Shireen, respectively. That is in about an hour, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And will not be restreamed, but you will be able to watch it on a multi-stream if you like.
This was a very crazy and interesting seed for both.
And we are joined in the booth by Diamatsu and his mentor, Adilor. GG, guys.
GG. What a seed we had.
It really was, wasn't it?
Your head late.
Head late, just a whole thing going on in this seed. So you're any reactions here before I've got one or two.
PB pace short of Trinex was just an absolute debacle, and it felt bad the whole time. And as soon as Fed became a thing, it's like Turtle Roxby's gonna become a thing, and I was prepared, but I wasn't prepared for the hammer. I was begging for that tempered sword.
Yeah, unfortunately, that that's I have to ask about the Trinex fight. Obviously, all kinds of trouble with that. But take me through your thought process as that kind of moves on. Right? Are you feeling a little tilted? Right? Like, how are you keeping yourself in?
At that point, I was pretty much convinced that Fartsplosion was going to come through, and it was just more take it easy, get through. Walking into it, I had practiced it. I'd practiced it enough, but it felt like I was comfortable. And then that pot disappeared. I used the last of that, and I'm sitting with my fire rod in my hand, going, "I'm out of magic."
Never.
At that point, it's like, all right, we're gonna have to skip out. In between, me and him had talked, and we had noticed before that fairy pot, the fairy bottle, was sitting on the top of Spec Rock. Didn't want to grab it right away, but on the back end, if it would have worked out, going to grab that first and jumping back in, it would have been great. But it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, that was a good thought. I like that. Adilor, any comments about how Diamatsu kind of carried himself today through what was a
Yeah, it was tough. Like outside of really the TR was the big beast of it. Meyer it's Meyer. But outside of that, like, it was honestly pretty good. Like, the execution was altogether solid. I feel like we made some pretty good routing decisions. We had a couple of debates earlier on, like, oh man, do we get into like pendant pod? Like, before we knew it was a pedestal seed, we were thinking like there's so many pendant dungeons we could dip, and we're putting them off because we kept getting like just enough to go to another crystal dungeon, and then it became clear to us. It became clear to us that the flute was on the pedestal. Like, well, guess we're doing everything.
It's all done.
All dungeons, indeed. My other question was about Ice Palace, and both of you ended up doing an out of logic Ice Palace before going into Pendant Pod, and that can't have been an easy decision to make either way. Do you remember what you guys were talking about in that kind of?
From my end, it was a crystal. It felt right. We had the things that needed to be done. That out of logic happens. Rando.
Oh yeah. It was because that was right after we got the fire rod, I think. And we're just like, well, that blew open 3 dungeons, and we're like, well, we should knock out all these crystals, and ice is right there. It's got 3 items in it. May as well.
And I was baiting to get into that ice rod cave too, because being out of bombs early really hurts.
Yeah. We never did go back for that. Yeah.
So there wasn't anything there.
Well, there we go. Good place.
Any? I got a question for. Did you happen to know where? Because we saw that you checked the tablets. Were you also looking for the silvers as well?
Oh, absolutely. I would have loved to YOLO'd into a silver, but it's one of those things I can't dump too much time into it because I'm already feeling a little behind.
And it told us Dark
Silver,
Worlds, which I can only imagine is either Pyramid Fairy or Mire Shed at this point. I don't think anything else is left.
Nope, they were actually on the.
Oh, Bumper Ledge, man.
Yeah, but you guys never saw, and then the cape, and then the cape up on Ether tablet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sad.
All right. Well, it's been a long day for you guys, so I want to let you go. Any final words from either of you? And I've got and I'll open that up. Fartsplosion is still here as well.
I'm definitely going to say thanks to Adilor, thanks to the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament team. You guys are doing awesome work out there. I hope to get into the comms booth here in the near future, and may everybody's seeds be.
Yeah, this has been a great tournament so far. It's just been good. I'm looking forward to seeing. Actually, the week 3 will be interesting, seeing how everyone does without their mentors, seeing how all the training has come together, and hopefully we'll see some really solid races. And then week 4 we kick into Open, and we can stop dealing with Ambrosia shenanigans, and we can keep having fun with it.
All right, and then Fartsplosion, any last words from you?
No, all I have to add to what they said is that the community's been great. Everybody's so willing to help out and just take time out of their day to help other people improve, and it's helped all of us so much. And it's just been, great experience so far. We got a lot left.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear it that you guys are enjoying yourselves and that it has been a positive experience for you guys. It's the whole tournament is about you guys getting better and getting and feeling more comfortable here with this game and in the community. We're happy to have you. So GG once again to all of you. Yoko, any last words before we head out?
No, not really. We covered it.
All right. So thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you give our runners and their mentors a follow. Their Twitch handles are in the chat. And also thanks to KegintheCloset, who was our tracker for this seed, and to vortexofdoom putting on the restream for us. For Yoko, my name is Tylersalt. Thank you all for joining us once again. And we will see you around these parts next time. Thanks, everybody.
Take care, everyone. Have